Okay, so here is our next big project. We have a dining table and 5 chairs. 4 of them are just side chairs with 1 armchair, which most likely we are missing a second armchair to make it a 6-seat set. But I've already gotten started on this piece, just then gotten to a pause with it. I've already removed all of the cushions and you can see how terrible they look. And I had, in order to get it down to the basement, hold on, I'll put this on tripod. So like I was saying, I already started disassembling this in order to get it down into the basement. It was, for one, just too heavy and bulky to get it around. And 2, there's just certain things that are not going to be needed on this table anymore. This table is an extending table, although there are no extensions that came with it. So having all of these legs on it makes no sense. It makes it heavier. It's going to be a burden to move around. So I went ahead and removed the center set. We won't be needing this to go back on. So those pieces we say goodbye to. And if we know Packy, we're gonna find another use for it and maybe make another table. But so those aren't going on, and it opens all of this area up to clean and get in to. So then we remove the side leaves. And these side leaves will be refinished to go back on, but being off of the piece will just make it easier to work with. So then this is what the piece will look like, and you can tell it's gonna need some sturdying up. You can see how scratched up the surface is, and you know, veneers loose and missing on all of the chairs. Won't point every single thing out right now. So this is our next big project. Hi, my name is Packy, creator of Pack Rat's Shack. I upcycle furniture, build out of pallet wood, finish interior spaces, and have a vendor booth for my creations. Welcome to my world. This is a cool little thing. Ah, that's the lock pull. That's cool. That's the lock pull that keeps the leaves together. Mama's butter works really good for this. It did on the past for swivel hinges. I got a little bit left in this tin. I'm gonna just start to work some in to the mechanism. Okay, let that set while I take off these, because I think these need to be done something with so they're not moving constantly. Oh, that one's missing on this. I can't get WD-40 to work that fast, so if you're ever struggling with any kind of sticky hardware, swivel hinges, rollers, any kind of hinge, try Big Mama's butter. Amazing transformation. Going from a big set of cobalt pliers to being able to turn it with one finger in both directions and pull it up and down. My work is done. Whole table transformed right there. The reason that I decided to try this on this tabletop before sanding was just to even out all of these things. The makeup of this kind of wood filler is so much thinner and smoother and not granulated, if that makes any sense. So I thought it would go inside these tiny little cuts better than the two-part epoxies or the plastic wood. Whenever I use the two-part epoxies and the plastic wood, there's always a granulated surface to the top that before I finish out a table, I then go over with this wood filler to fill in all those little holes left. But I thought that this would be thin enough to kind of pack down into some of these like very, very thin scratches. Right here we're at 19 1/4. By the point you get to here, you're at 18 3/8. That's not even, so we are going to make a piece to go in between here to push this distance at the 19 1/4 mark. not so wobbly anymore. So that's good. Seems a lot more sturdy. I mean, it's still got a little bit, but I don't see any other joints that are loose, so I think that has helped stabilize it a lot. on facing the chairs through, but I'm also moving on the tabletops and the leaves as well. And by the way, I also did a scuff sanding because there was overspray on it and I wanted it all evened out, and wiped it all down with the tack cloth. And redoing a scuff sanding and wipe down with tack cloth between every layer. This is just the first layer of primer. It'll need a second layer. I think the Boss, it gives a time frame on how long to wait in between coats, and then you wait 24 hours before top coating or before covering it with your color options. Then I'm also gonna work around the area that I sprayed yesterday and get where the sprayer didn't get to. Still some bleed through, but I think that's because, if I remember correctly, I only did the backs one time. So I'm going to attempt to conceal it more and seal it in with the shellac spray.
Come on, kittens. Come on. Over here.
So the shellac needs to dry for 1 hour before painting. I'll go ahead and get started on painting this top. And then I've only done one coat of white to the base and all of the chairs. And I know that I saw some bleed through on the chairs, especially in areas where I saw something and I tried to scrape it back. Then that would cause too much of the finish to be exposed again without primer. So I know there's areas that I either need to touch up with primer again or spray with the shellac. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get started on painting this top. This is a good technique to do with a cheap chip brush to get into corners so that when you're using a roller with a minor texture to it, this will blend in the texturing so you don't get brush strokes in some spots and roller marks in another. Instead, this evens out the texture in a way where it all blends together. And I'm not trying to like create heavy texture or anything, but this table set and chairs is not perfect by any means, even with all the work I put into gluing and clamping and rebuilding the veneers where they were missing. There's other areas that I didn't put time into because there's no point in it. They'll just get damaged again. Like the lower legs of the chairs getting banged into the lower legs of the table. So basically, you don't want to try to make it as smooth as possible because every little bang is going to show up. Every little mark on the surface is going to show up that way. So this is just enough texture to not magnify every single little imperfection, but it's not enough texture that you look at it and say, oh, well, that's got a texture to it. I mean, you don't look at walls and say they're textured when they've just been rolled on with a roller. But there are some rollers that are smoother and some rollers that have more texture. This one's a very, very smooth roller. So anyway, that is the thought process behind why I'm painting this one the way I'm painting it, and also why I tried to start out with spray painting, because when you're spraying, at least the sprayer I have, I noticed that there's a wee bit of texture left behind when you spray stuff, because it kind of goes on in layers and it kind of looks somewhat granulated as it goes on. So basically I'm getting the worst of the crud off of them tonight, and then I'm covering them with Big Mama's Butter, which is a Dixie Belle product that works really good at a lot of things. That's the level of finishing I'm gonna go for. So, see one that's cleaned up compared to one that's not. Here I've already sprayed both sides with the satin clear enamel Rust-Oleum, which will keep them protected from corrosion. On the feet at the end of the table legs, I'm using this Rust-Oleum metallic paint and primer, and it's in Champagne Mist. So we have some Dixie Belle Glaze in the grunge color. So earlier I used Dixie Belle Grunge to get some characteristics going in this top. And I want to continue on with that, but I want it a little bit darker and I want the lines to be a little bit different. So I found a brush that I'm not using for anything, and I cut it and made the ends really, really jagged. So basically you can just get scissors and just keep snipping away until you get a jagged end. And so now I am going to work with black glaze to see if I can get a different pattern going across the top with darker markings, and hopefully be enough difference that it doesn't start looking like kind of a repeat or whatever. So that's what we're gonna just play with right now. I decided that this is a little too much. It's too bulky or heavy in essence. So I like the fact that there'll be two-tone, three-tone going on, but I just think this is too much. So I'm going to start to try to streak the original base coat back in over the top of all of this. Kind of just play with it and get it to where I want it, and then I will show you the difference between where I've been and where I haven't. So what do you think? Two sides. Over here I have worked on feathering in some more of the original base color. Over here I have not, and you can see how the lines from the dark glazing just don't seem very natural. They seem to just be there, and you don't want something to just look like it's just there to be there. You kind of want it to look natural or whatnot. So over here, just that little bit of adding back in the base kind of tones down this and makes it look more natural, like a faux grain. I know, two words contrasting each other, but I believe you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to continue working on feathering in the base coat over here, and on the leaves probably coming back to this and working it kind of in layers as it dries until I get it to where I like it. So we got the fourth thin coat of gator hide drying on the top, and these little feet are all done and cured, and we're going to attach them. I went to Lowe's and got these smaller nails. They might be slightly thinner than the old ones that were in it, but the old ones were all bent and crumpled up on the ends. And I got them just a little bit longer so they could go past the hole that those original ones made and into some fresh wood. So we'll see how that works. And let's just go ahead and get going on that. Can see that the hole that the original ones in were quite deep. Okay, I need to have something to brace this up against so that the legs don't just keep bouncing back and forth. And what actually might be better than these would be a smaller screw, which I did look for a smaller screw and I didn't see what I was looking for, but anyways.
Hello everybody, it's Nova. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'm not lying when I say that this is one of my favorite tables that Mom has done. I love the way it turned out. If you feel the same way, let me know down below in the comments. Just let us know any of your opinions. We'd love to hear them. If you haven't already, make sure to give us a big thumbs up and like this video. And if you aren't already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we upload. And thank you guys again so much for watching. With that, stay safe out there.